Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. This will be episode number 3 in my series on binge eating, obesity, and finances. One reason for making these videos is to show that obesity, and particularly morbid obesity, is rarely caused by a lack of money to buy healthy food. But an even bigger reason for making these videos is to show how much overeating can negatively impact people's lives. There seems to be a growing number of dietitians, nutritionists, regular people, and even doctors spreading the idea that overeating doesn't exist. That if your intuition wants you to eat 5,000 calories a day, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure. You ready? Emotional eating is okay. I'm just going to say it one more time for good measure. Emotional eating is okay.
Or the fact that it's been 18 months of a pandemic, and therefore for a lot of people your body size has increased because you've survived the mental stress of the last 18 months or 15 months, however long it's been. It feels like a long time, but that is normal. And instead of talking about you are doing really well and actually you have used food as, or may have used food as, more of a coping mechanism over the last 15 months to what you are used to, because we all have different mechanisms by which we cope with stress, and food is a really good one.
Also, if you want to eat 200 burritos, if that was even possible, go for it. Do it. Live your best fucking life. Food is meant to be enjoyed.
But this idea that overeating doesn't exist ignores the fact that binge eating and food addiction are real. And these same people will openly scoff at the idea that obesity causes health issues, which allows them to claim that overeating isn't harmful. But if they don't want to believe that overeating causes any physical issues, which, to be clear, it absolutely does, then why don't we look at the strain overeating can have on the finances and relationships of everyday people? Let's begin. This first woman lost 145 pounds and has recovered from binge eating, which they are mostly managing at this point. Have you noticed a change in spending on food? Oh yes. When I was 325 pounds, my BED and general overeating resulted in a monthly grocery bill of $800 to $1,000 for me alone. Now I maybe spend $400 to $600 a month on groceries for my entire household, which is me and one other person. Before, I wasn't able to spend on restaurants because of how much I spent on groceries. I do spend more on restaurants now, at about $25 to $60 every week or so for date night, where I used to not really spend at all. Did you have any go-to foods that you spent excessive amounts of money on? On top of my big spending at the grocery store, which was a lot of cereal, snack cakes, breads, and pastas, I was big on liquid calories and sweets from the gas station. I was drinking anywhere from 1 to 2 liters of soda a day, totaling about $95 to $150 a month in soda. I also had a major sweet tooth, so I was spending $5 a day or so on trolley gummy candy or Mentos for about $150 a month. So on top of the $800 to $1,000 grocery bill I had each month, I was also spending about $300 a month on gas station snacks as well. Have you noticed a change in spending on medical care? Oh yes. I have 4 less prescription to buy each month now that I have lost weight and stopped eating so much processed food. My labs, which had always been good despite my chronic health issues, are at better levels that are indicative of my improved diet. My symptoms, while not gone, are improved considerably, enough that I don't have to go to the doctor as much. So less copays too. Before, I was in the doctor monthly, sometimes more than once a month, and now it's only when I'm in need of general care. Have you noticed the change in spending on exercise and other discretionary health costs? Well, I do spend $100 more from nothing on a gym membership now, half of what I used to spend on soda. I also spend on protein shakes, which I buy in bulk for my household. And then there's about $90 every 3 months for a couple of general supplements I take now. Have you noticed a change in spending in other aspects like clothing, hygiene, and travel? I spend more on clothes now that I fit into styles I like, maybe $100 twice a year, instead of spending maybe $50 to $100 a year on clothing. I spend more on hygiene products because I value caring for my body and appearance more now. I invest regularly in a whole CeraVe skincare routine that's completely cleared up my hormonal acne, and Function of Beauty hair care. I also have PCOS, and as a reward for myself after losing the weight, I had electrolysis, which is laser hair removal, on my face, totaling about $1,200 in total. Just to be clear, I think PCOS causes a lot of excess body hair, so that's why this person said that they got laser hair removal because they have PCOS. Did you or the people around you ever experience financial strain due to your food consumption, healthcare costs, or any other aspect of your size? Oh yes. At one point, my family was nearly $19,000 in debt due to my medical costs, which were directly worsened by my weight. My PCOS and fibromyalgia were unmanageable, and I had developed lipedema and chronic venous insufficiency in my legs. I was to the point of immobility, and I required regular monthly medical assistance. My lymphedema is all but gone now, and my other medical conditions have improved enough that my medical expenses are no longer a massive sinking fund. I spend nearly $600 less on food per month, which now goes to things that actually improve my life. I no longer spend $300 to $400 a month on medical expenses, just $90 to $100 every 3 months as needed. I'm also able to buy things I want and save money now, which I couldn't do before. When you add up all of the before and after costs this person mentioned, everything from food to snacks to the gym to medical costs, they were spending over $1,000 a month more when they were 325 pounds versus 180 pounds now. This next man has lost 110 pounds since last July. Have you noticed a change in spending on food? Yes, there's definitely a price difference. At my highest weight, I could eat 3,000 to 4,000 calories at a time, mostly getting fast food and delivery. Food spending went way down after I started trying to lose weight. I cook more, so I save there, but even if I eat out, I'm not ordering enough to feed 3 people or more, so there's still a noticeable difference in how I spend. Were there any foods that you spent an excessive amount of money on? Junk food you get at the corner store or gas station. Think Hostess fruit pies, Little Debbie's, oatmeal cream cookies, Arizona juices, etc. It's deceptively expensive. They're like 50 cents to maybe $1.25, but I would get like 5 or more things at a time, at least 4 or 5 times a week. So altogether it was probably $50 to $60 a week purely on snacks that probably cost 10 cents to make. Have you noticed a change in spending on medical care? I have definitely realized that my weight affects my medical bills. I started trying to lose weight after being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes last year. I spent most of the summer super sick because my blood sugar was insanely high. I didn't go to the doctor much before because I felt fine, but once I was sick enough to see a doctor, my bills immediately went up. I had to go to the emergency room and see multiple doctors and do a couple of trips to urgent care. Insulin shots, blood glucose monitors, test strips, a bunch of oral medications, compression socks. They all cost a lot. After losing weight, I was able to come off insulin and a few of the medications I was taking. My blood test supplies last longer because my blood sugar is controlled, so I don't have to test as often. Have you noticed a change in spending on exercise and other discretionary health costs? I didn't really spend any money on exercise. I just walk around, so I don't have a gym membership. I have a Fitbit, but it was a gift. I bought some walking shoes and some exercise shorts. All things considered, I probably spent less than $300 in the last 14 months on stuff specifically related to exercise, if you want to include the Fitbit cost, even though that was more than covered by the money I was saving on food. Have you noticed a change in other aspects like clothing, hygiene, and travel? I take public transit. Since I walk 4 miles most days for exercise, my definition for walking distance has changed drastically in the past year. Since I can walk more, a lot of trips that used to be bus trips are now walking trips. I used to buy 30-day passes for the bus because I would need to take the bus or train to get certain errands done throughout the week. I stopped buying them because I wasn't using the 30-day passes enough to justify the price. So I save about $75 to $100 per month on public transit. The other thing that was surprising is my electricity bill. When I was bigger, I always had to have my AC cranked all summer because I was always super warm. I still run hot, but I'm just naturally retaining less because there's 100 pounds less of me. Did you or anyone around you ever experience financial strain because of your size or disorder? I wouldn't consider it hardship in the sense of sacrificing rent money or bill money to pay for food. Like, I didn't fall behind on rent because I was spending $100 on pizza or anything like that. But something I've thought about recently is how many financial opportunities I missed out on because I was spending money on food I didn't need. If I took every Uber Eats order from 2020 alone and added them all up, it's probably a few $1,000s. A few $1,000s that could have gone to putting a down payment on my own house, or investing in a small business, or helping people out in need, or literally anything else besides my 5th hamburger and fries with a large shake. Particularly for the Black community, there's a lot of discussion around the idea of generating wealth. And it can be kind of sad to know there was a position where I had a chance to put money where it could have done something good, but instead I chose to eat it because I couldn't get my act together. So for this next story, this woman is 5'3". Back in 2014, she weighed 245 pounds. And between 2015 and 2018, she lost about 100 pounds and has been maintaining her weight at about 145 ever since. She was also a binge eater. Have you noticed a change in spending on food since losing weight? Absolutely. There has been a huge difference in my spending habits. I used to eat out for almost every meal. I would grab 2 breakfast meals on my way to work, eat a prepackaged frozen meal for lunch, and then I would binge food at night. That's not to mention the snacks and candies that I would be continuously eating throughout the day. I was easily spending hundreds of dollars a week on food just for myself. If we compare the height of my BED to now, I spend less on feeding 2 people, even considering the wild increase in prices for food over the last 2 years. 1 takeout meal will now last me at least 2 meals, a tub of ice cream can be enjoyed over multiple sessions, and I like to buy raw ingredients to make food from scratch. Also significantly, I plan all my meals a week in advance and use seasonal produce guides and sales to optimize our shopping list. This makes it easy to avoid fast food as I have a game plan each night. My lunch is the same every day, and I don't eat breakfast on the weekdays. Learning to cook at home and experimenting with different recipes has replaced the need to eat out in many ways. Did you have any go-to foods that you spent excessive amounts of money on? Because I used to rarely cook at home, I had a few go-to foods that I would buy with the goal of them lasting me for several days and meals, which inevitably never happened and resulted in a single binge. Some of my typical buys would be 2 Domino's large pizzas, cinnamon sticks, and cheesy bread, a spicy chicken sandwich, 2 junior bacon cheeseburgers, large fries from Wendy's, an entire family-sized bag of peanut butter cups or peanut butter M&Ms, several pints of Haagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry's ice cream, 2 McDonald's sausage and egg breakfast sandwich meals, or family-sized bags of Cool Ranch Doritos or Ripple sour cream and onion chips. And all of that would be something I would eat in less than a week. Have you noticed a change in spending on medical care since losing weight? I am fortunate to live in a country with mostly government-paid healthcare, and I have had an excellent insurance plan for some time, so I haven't seen any changes in medical care. But I do spend more money on mental health, as I see a therapist regularly now, even though my BED isn't as severe as it used to be, because it's not entirely covered by insurance. But even those visits aren't as expensive as my food habit once was. Have you noticed a change in spending on exercise and other discretionary healthcare costs? I definitely spend more money in this category, but I would not say any of these purchases are responsible for my weight loss. I believe I owe that to calorie counting and walking. Currently, I pay for a membership to a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym as my primary exercise, and we bought an elliptical last year for the winter months. I also regularly spend money on massages because, hey, combat sports hurt sometimes. Have you noticed a change in spending in other aspects like clothes, hygiene, and travel? I have not noticed a large change up or down in this area. I might spend a little more money on makeup, for example, but a little less on clothes. Likewise, I likely spend a little bit more on activities on vacation because I have more energy to do things throughout the day, but I spend less on accommodations, as we camp instead of staying in a hotel. Did you or anyone around you ever experience financial strain because of your size or weight? I was pretty severely in debt right before going into recovery, but the binge eating wasn't the only factor. The abusive ex who refused to work was the biggest reason. Yeah, that'll do it. As for any anecdotes, getting a dog has been the best investment in my overall health. I have to walk them every day, and spending time outdoors in nature is just fun with a dog. I highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Congrats on the weight loss. It's crazy to think that she was eating all of this food in a week, plus more, I'm sure. Even this several pints of Ben & Jerry's or Haagen-Dazs, a single pint has somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 calories. So if you're eating even 2 of those in a night, that's your entire daily amount of food. Not to mention each pint is like $5, so that's $10 on something that she probably consumed like a snack, basically. But yeah, cutting your entire food budget in half and more is amazing. Good job. So yeah, that's it. Thank you to everyone who sent me their stories, for everyone else to hear on this channel, and I'm sure I will make more videos like this, so I will see you in the next video.